Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queens.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
We get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Nice.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins, okay? And also, we have my guest here, Christopher King from KingCast65. Please, let's get some fire emojis in the chat to welcome him, and let's get ready to get this party started. Okay, now, before we do, let's see who's all in here. Okay, Dangerous, Greta Lee, Just Joy, Songwriter Sunny, D Major, Chris V. All right, let's get into it. DJ The Truth, Alice, Chilly Willy from Philly, Lil Bro, Buckhorse DC's Nefarious Self, Shelveet. All right, Reggie, I see you, Nessa G. Okay, Pretty Wings. Shout out to all my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. So before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find her products at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil, and you don't want to miss out on the sale she's having today for the 4th of July. All right, so let's get ready to get into it, Chris. I'm going to let you start, but I do want to ask you this. So you were in Frisco when the trial was going on, but you didn't get into the trial, I believe. Because it wasn't
By
enough
design.
room, or what was going on?
Judge
said you
Roach is
didn't
what
get
was
to go
going
in?
on, No, and I was there like 4 a.m, right. You had to get there like 3, it was basically a closed court, which raises Sixth Amendment issues and First Amendment issues for the public.
Okay.
We'll get into
Right.
that.
And Yeah, them just letting 20 something people in is crazy. Okay,
Hmm.
it's absolutely crazy. And not having cameras in the courtroom. Now, what do you think about Judge John Roach Jr. when he did that interview and he said that the one thing he regretted was not having cameras in the courtroom?
Wait a minute. He said I missed that in his interview. He said he regretted that because
Yeah,
the
he
way I
said one
know.
of the things he regretted was not having cameras in the courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought, well, you didn't want to have cameras in the courtroom because you didn't want the world to see the railroading that was going on, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's my opinion as well. And I see can't stand me because I've written the court several times on certain things regarding to this case. That being one of them, court
Hmm.
access being one of them. And we're to start with that. Um, so let's see where to start. Let's start with Derek Jackson, who is or was the PIO, the public information officer. He looks like us.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, everything's going on fine. Let's say hunky dory. Everything's fine. I'm getting my information, and I ask him for the trial schedule. And that has nothing to
Hmm.
do with the protective order, has nothing to do with the gag orders, none of those things, right? It's over here. And so he sends it to me, and he says in the email, this is not those things. So yeah, you're free to have this. So I was like the first journalist to put it out there. And what happens next is the online chatter, especially from like Bayboy, flat out said, "Oh, the prosecutor is hella mad." And I'm like, "Well, what does he have to do with any of this? He allegedly doesn't run the court, and we want to know when trials are happening. We had the trial schedule, right? So people come and see it. All right.
Right.
So, um, he's hella mad, and I'm like, "Well, Bayboy, how do you know this?" Right? You got a pipeline to Willis's office or what? So then Jackson disappears. He is incommunicado, gone. They bring in this Steve Stoller guy who does not look like us, looks like my brother-in-law. All right. So I love my brother-in-law. I don't love Steve Stoller. So they bring the Steve Stoller guy in, and he is actually a former he's Collin County, but he's a former Plano director of communications. And I believe that was his title, something like that. So I actually lived in Plano 25 years ago when I was a corporate attorney, making money for the city of Frisco, by the way. Anyway,
Hmm.
long story there. Well, I'll just detour for a second. So I worked for this company called Ricochet Modem. And you take this thing, it was before broadband, you stick it on your laptop, and then it was the first mobile internet interface. So it
Okay.
was rad. It was rad. Anyway, so our company negotiated the right of ways with Frisco and other municipalities so that the carrier could put their stuff on the phone poles and the utility poles. So anyway, so we're stroking checks to Frisco back then. I'm a good Negro. Everything's fine. King Cast is okay. So now Stoller never responds to me once. And so I've talked to a number of other people who could barely get anything out of him too. But so yeah, he never spoke to me once. Even when I asked him, because some of the Metcalfians, for you guys, the Metcalfs, the decedent. I'm not calling him a victim by any means. The decedent
Hmm.
is, I believe, Austin Metcalf. So the Metcalfians will stop at no end to, you know, disrupt us, scare us, whatever they can do. All right, I'm suing a couple of them right now for the threats and the lies they've told on me about being disbarred. I was never disbarred, not even close. So they'll do it though, because they're used to getting away with everything, right? So what they did was they circulated a rumor that there was not going to be any pens or notepads, and I'm like, well, I got to find out, man. So I asked. I don't get a response back, right? Just nothing. So the he's gone. I asked for his personnel file because I know my name is all it's all over it, right? So and they bring in not only is Steve Stoller former like communications manager for Plano, he's ex Fox. Yeah. So they usher him
Mm.
right.
Okay.
Hmm. And then and then to hear Judge Roach talk about how social media doesn't have it right. Well, he didn't care that Daily Mail lied and said that Austin arrived in Hunter's arms. That's a lie. He didn't care about that. And their legacy
Right.
media, they came in the courtroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I want to get the file. They don't give me the file. I write the letter for the file. Then they appeal to the AG's office, which is what they basically do for anything. They just punt these days. You know, hot potato, I don't want it. Let's kick it up to Paxton, who is Paxton. So now a similar thing, there's no decision yet. So I responded back. And all these documents, I have them all. We're building a website. There's another gentleman, constitutional, on TikTok. He and I are working. He's a badass legal scholar himself. Works for a law firm, does information management, FOIA, that kind of thing. So we're putting together a package so people can see, hey, well, what document is this? And what's going on with that? What's this? What's that? Right. So he's working on that. So, yeah. So they don't give me the file. I appeal it. Meanwhile, over here, somebody else had filed to get Melanie Stoller's her personnel records. Now, I had verified before that she was no longer employed there. All right.
Now, was that the clerk
Yes. The clerk
that was supposedly giving out information?
She said, and I have clips of what she said, that I got suspended without pay or something like that because I stuck my nose where it didn't belong. And then there were other messages where she said, so-and-so DM me. All this stuff looks pretty shady. Right. So you have that. And now they won their appeal when they went up to the AG's office. They were given 10 days to provide the file. They took 30 days to provide the file. And when they did, they still had a code in there for the reason for termination or separation. It was a code, and instead of written in words. So, they're still playing games. That's all they do.
Right.
Now, I don't know how much more game playing they're going to do now that we have actually substantive lawyers have taken the helm now. How much gamesmanship they can get away with, because this team was picked very carefully. They have experience within these hallowed halls of injustice. Yeah. So that's kind of your background on the court. And why don't we round out the issues with the court, and then we'll go to the substance of the case, I guess, and yeah. So now there's a test for when the courtroom is basically closed. It's called Waller, WALLER, and I forget what state it is. It might be Alabama or some one of the other states. And when you're gonna basically close the courtroom, which it was, let's be honest, because they didn't even open the overflow room to watch TV, right? So Waller holds that there's a multi-part test, and basically it's it's a first. There's a First Amendment right that we have to attend and to observe. Then the defendant has a Sixth Amendment right to an open court because it implicates a higher level of scrutiny and observation so that things are going right. Okay. So that's the best way I can put it. So both of those have been violated in my opinion. But so what the court's supposed to do is you take what's called the strict scrutiny test. This is like you have a fundamental right to do something. What are the enumerated things in the Constitution or your inalienable rights, stuff like that. It's like, okay, what's the compelling governmental reason for doing this? Security, safety. Let's go with that. Okay. There were a couple of minors involved. Okay. Well, what's the least restrictive means of how do you narrowly tailor an approach to that? Well, okay. They did voir dire and they had people in the overflow room. All right. And then that's one way to do it, so people can still observe. So I'm just following. So if Roach is going to argue, well, I wanted to protect those teen witnesses and stuff like that. Well, I mean, these guys, they're not like 12 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? These are high school people. And
right, exactly.
The truth of the matter is, come on now. They appear in videos all the time. You could blue dot a face. You could, for the broadcast, they could do a time delay broadcast or by blue dot. There's all kinds of lesser restrictive means to accomplish that end, if that's your real end.
Right.
I don't think it was.
Exactly.
Arguendo. So so that's kind of where that's at. And the court did not conduct that test. And the irony is I juxtaposed Judge Roach with another judge whose name I forget right now, but he just in April of this year, he was interviewed. He was a high court judge, the Supreme Court judge, Waters. Well, I can't remember his name right now. But anyway, so he had just flat out said, I'm in favor of cameras all the time. Open courts are the only courts, all of this, right? but Roach was not having it. At one point, we're going to watch the video I just did in a minute. And I talked about, I wrote in to argue in honor of a jury view. Because in a case like this, it's so complicated, you should have a jury view. Because that way you put the jury in those bleachers where it all happened. You enumerate who was where at all points in times. You have Karmelo seated there and explain, well, there's a guy here, and a guy here, right? But see, they didn't want any parts of that because they knew that would tell the story that he was surrounded, which he was, which you'll see in the video. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And see, on the jury view, I've done it myself, and you'll see in the video, I did it as an attorney. The court said, well, the area isn't unique enough that we need to take the jury there, Mr. King, but you can shoot a video there and show, if your argument is that it's not a high crime area, then we'll allow you to show the jury that in your belief it's not a high crime area.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't. It was this guy's mother's Civic Award winning garden. You'll see it's not a high crime area. So anyway, they choked him and all that stuff and this and that, whatever. I remember to bring expert witnesses. Hello?
Exactly. Yeah. Something that Mike Howard didn't bother to do. Now, with that all being said, yeah, he didn't do a whole lot that he should have been doing, and especially for him to be voted the best criminal defense attorney since 2016, all the way up until current. So we know that he was not doing the best that he could do. Now, what I want to go to really quick is the live on TikTok where Megan Metcalf was talking, because I noticed several things. When she was talking, first of all, she didn't hold her boys accountable. But second of all, something else I noticed that you said that didn't even make any sense.
Anything about the cheerleader email? We kind of talked to Brandon about it a little bit. He didn't go into too much detail because of his, and he just said like kids were disciplined, and that's
yeah. So the incident was that we had played Frisco Liberty that night and lost, and we should have beat them because they hadn't won a game in like 3 years. So, the whole football team was frustrated and upset, and Austin and Hunter were physically upset even at the game. Like, they got in trouble from the coaches because like Austin threw his helmet. Hunter was the one who's kind of more of like he would get more upset about things.
Now, the first thing I noticed is right there, she said they got in trouble from the coach. Okay, so that means that they were acting in a way that was unbecoming, clearly, to where the coach felt the need to say something to them. Now, this is before the cheerleader incident, right? Now, with that all being said, notice how she said Austin threw his helmet. He was clearly ticked off. And then she switches it to Hunter, making it more as Hunter is the one who had a bad temper. But it seems to me they both did. But another thing I want you all to listen to is when she says that Austin walked off the field and basically he didn't go back into the game. And then she says there was 2 minutes left. Now, pay attention to that, because she then says that the cheerleaders were not really cheering because they were like, oh, the team's sorry or whatever. Hold on. I'll finish what I'm saying after you all listen.
He went back out on the field and finished the game. Austin was like, I'm done. He was just, there was only like 2 minutes left, and he was just pissed. He was just in one of those moods.
So Austin didn't even want to go back into the game, is my point, right? He didn't even want to go back into the game, but then she tries to justify her son's behavior and the bullying of the cheerleaders by saying the cheerleaders weren't trying to, motivate them. And they were just like, oh, the team sucks. But isn't that the same thing that Austin was clearly doing himself? How did she expect the cheerleaders to be motivating them when they were not even motivating themselves? That's my point.
After the game was over, him and Hunter, and I know for sure one other kid who was an offensive lineman, went to Cane's to eat. And I'm going to be honest with you, the cheerleaders, I loved the girls. I wasn't a fan of the coach because as a coach myself, I was a volleyball coach for a long time. You want to encourage your kids to encourage the other teams and all those kind of things. And I felt like our cheerleaders just for like,
Diddy is a cheer
what's
coach. She's a cheer
what's
coach.
the point?
Yeah.
What's the, like, they were just like, what's the point? This is, you know, our team's trash, this kind of thing. And the girls apparently were talking about the game and making comments about how crappy our team was. And Hunter, yeah, more than likely said something nasty to one of them, because that's how he approaches things. And Austin just, when everyone was like, man, I don't understand why you guys got to be like that. Like, we're upset that we lost, and this is how you're not even going to support us. So there was not like a physical altercation. It's more verbal of like, you guys are assholes for not, you know, you're supposed to be First School Memorial supporters, and you're acting like we're shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you're cheerleaders on top of that. So fast forward to the email that was sent. From what I understand, the coach had talked to Austin and Hunter about just what happened on the field the night before. And then the coach had sent the email, and Coach Jackson, who was our head football coach, actually told them, if you have a problem, you need to go to the police, because it was off campus. And there was nothing he's going to do because it was.
Now, she says that she tries to really act as though it's no big deal, okay, and that her boys didn't really go in on them. They were just upset because they were losing the game and they didn't feel supported. But then why would the coach say, if you have a problem, you need to go to the police because it happened off campus? Why would there be a need to get the police involved if it's as minimal as she says? Okay, she's really trying to minimize what they did. Now, it had to be something serious for the cheerleaders to feel the need to write a note or an email to the coaches, and also to bring up the rages that Hunter must continuously get into, because she said it with a plural, as though he's had these rages before, and that she doesn't know what triggers them. Okay, and that he said that his hands were bisexual. Okay, as in he'll hit girls or guys. So she's not even addressing any of that. She's just trying to skirt past it. And then she's more concerned about who leaked the email, because that's what she also mentions. Who leaked it? Then she says she thinks it was a mom.
Off campus. So nothing came of it other than, yes, there was a talking to. And again, I go back to the original fact. Austin would never disrespect a girl per se. Hunter, he could have some choice words for someone who was going to be disrespecting him. I'm just going to be completely frank. That's just how he is. They were identical twins, but they were two completely different type of children. But the end result, nothing happened in that regard. And then I actually asked someone here recently, you know, how it got leaked or whatever, how the email had gotten out to all these people or whatever. And someone had mentioned more than likely it was a mom that was just pissed off and just decided she was just going to do whatever to hurt my kids more than because she felt disrespected, because maybe it was her daughter that felt disrespected. So she felt disrespected and wanted to.
Or she saw the name Metcalf in the news and she wanted some clout. There's that.
Right.
So it wasn't even a cheer.
Or maybe it's not okay to call somebody a fat B. You know, just excuse everything these kids did. Listen, I brought my old racket over. So in high school, I keep hanging on to vintage things, right? So in high school, I had the Max Fly McEnroe, right? And I was like a backup quarterback. All right. So if I had done those things that those boys did, all right, throwing my racket or throw my helmet, I ain't playing for at least a week. Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. I was telling someone I'll call them back.
Oh, you can hear me though.
Yeah. I can
hear me though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not playing for at least a week, right? So I was at that time. I'm like, look, I'm not breaking this thing. I'm not doing anything. I found another one a couple of years ago. I got another one because I was Chris Blackenrow. All the rage, none of the skill. So, but yeah, that kind of attitude, you cannot possibly sustain that. And you listen to all the minions that they're talking to on that chat. They're blaming these girls. I'm like, some of you are women. And how do you as women rationalize misogyny?
Exactly.
I mean, they're like animals. They're animals. calling us animals, and they let their kids behave this way. Miss me
Right,
with
and then
it.
they try to justify their behavior. You know what? There has been rumors and things being said about how Jeff Metcalf used to put hands on Megan, and I believe that's where the boys got their disrespect from women. I believe that's where they learned that from their own father. But they want to talk about the Anthonys and how they raised Carmelo. Carmelo was a model student. Okay, he was a model student, and it's really crazy how they tried to flip the script and act as though the things that went on with Austin and Hunter were the same things that went on with Carmelo. I mean, they lied and said that he'd been suspended from school for bringing a knife to school. Just making up stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't have
Right.
any. Yeah, I don't have any proof, and I've never said that Jeff put hands on Megan. I've heard the rumors, but I never said it. What I did say
Mhm.
is that he certainly appears to be the fellow that was charged with SA. And I look back
Right.
to vintage period pictures, compared that to the mugshot. I'm like, I'm seeing something here. Okay, so there's
Well,
that
an
piece.
attorney
And
actually said
he
she
popped up.
fact checked it.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
did too. Anyway, so he popped
Mhm.
onto my page a couple of weeks ago. And I asked the question, did he go through the Valor program? Because the Valor program is something that's championed by Judge Roach, and he's a director, I think, there. So
Mhm.
there was a question about that. Someone stated it affirmatively. Then I saw it, and then I asked it in a question. I said, did Jeff go through the Valor program? It's an open-ended question. So I discovered later on that day or the next day, I deep dove into Secretary of State, and then I found the Valor was not founded until like 2018, I think. So then I wrote another post above that, and I corrected the first one. Well, not corrected, but I added to it. And I said, no. I said, it's impossible for him to have gone through that, right? Even if he was or wasn't a veteran, the timing doesn't work. Okay. So Jeff writes into my page, saying, let me clear this up. He writes back to the first post. Let me clear this up. I'd already cleared it up, Jeff. All right. But he comes along and he says, I did not go through Valor. I didn't meet Judge Roach, all this stuff. Right. And then I responded back and I said, yeah, Jeff, I know. I never really said that you did. I asked the question. I said, since I'm asking questions and you're visiting my page, let me ask you this question. Were you indeed charged? And he never responded. So there's that. And then I pulled the police
Yeah,
record
because he
for
was
activity.
charged.
Yeah, there was a police record for activity. There's an SA
Mhm.
at his address, like right there. Like, dude, you understand? I used to manage a title company. I'm an attorney. I'm going to find out. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
But he wants to call Carmelo a watermelon felon.
But wait now. I'll tell you what did happen conclusively. Jeff had to settle a fraud case, a civil fraud case against him, another realtor, and I can't remember the name of the realty company. It's somewhere around here. But anyway, yeah, they had to settle. Is it Grand? I forget what it is. But anyway, they had to settle a fraud lawsuit. It was fair trade practices, statutory fraud, and good old fashioned, regular fraud, common law fraud. And the allegation was that they materially misrepresented the lot size of a backyard, I think, where the swimming pool would be, things of that nature. And it was a pretty big, overall usable area. And so the
lying to
complaint
try and
alleged
charge
that-
more.
yeah, it just
Probably lying to
right.
charge
So
more money for it.
it's something of that nature. Sounds reasonable, right, to assume. So anyway, they
Right.
could not get that dismissed. They had to settle it, right? So I find it funny that people go back into my history, and I was suspended for a year for conduct that happened in 1998. Okay, I ended up being suspended in like 2005. It became effective or something like that, right? So I mean, like, I'll tell you about that case later. But in any event, it was. I'll tell you real quickly. A friend of mine who's also a lawyer heard about a case I had where the landlord was calling my client, a white woman, cover. Follow me? Okay. So my friend, who's also the lawyer, not in my firm, just was not a bigot. And he's like, that's not cool. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard about Heights Community Congress versus Hilltop Realty, a case that sprung out of Cleveland Heights, Ohio, where I'm from. And my family, we were testers in that endeavor, in that case. And it went to the Supreme Court. And it stood for the proposition that testers who go to check on racial animus can get damages. Now, we were not seeking damages for Sam as being a tester. We were just saying it's okay to do that as a tester. Because we want to see, what are you going to say about my client now? and I verified it that that it was going on. There was you can't make this up. There was a pizza shop underneath the building called Gumby's Pizza. So I went to Gumby's, and they told me they pulled me over one day because I used to eat there, and they're like, "Hey King, we hear stuff about you. You're Candy's lawyer, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And well, we hear stuff about this, And the original case was that it was a slumlord named Bob Dice, DEIS. He died a couple of years ago. So there was in the ceiling, there were holes in the ceiling, literally, and this gelatinous mass had hit the bathroom tile floor, and she slipped on it, broke her ass, right? So can I say broke her ass? so she did. Fine. Okay, so she did. And during that time when we were getting ready for the personal injury case, that's when they pulled my coattail to tell me that he was dropping these N-bombs. And so anyway, so Sam investigated it. Anyway, they drum us up. Anyway, Sam gets 6 months. I get a year suspension. All right. And which, you know what? I could have gone back a long time ago. And I just said, you know what? I don't feel like it. I'm just not motivated to go back to law. I mean, right. I could have gone back in 2006. Right. But I said, what?
It's just amazing.
You need to get that paper back.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me how these people go and try to dig up dirt on the people that are pro Karmelo, just to try to discourage them from speaking out. Hold on for just a second. I want to say, Buckhorst DC, the truth is in the power, # free Mello. Thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the things that Mike Howard didn't do. Okay, such as we know that he didn't call in any expert witnesses. They also didn't bring the tool that was used into the courtroom. Now, which I thought that was very detrimental, the fact, because were there any fingerprint? Did they dust it for fingerprints? Did they get any DNA off of it? I mean, I just have so many questions. The fact that they were able to get away with that when they actually had it in police possession. Now, if they had never found it, that's one thing. But if you have the weapon that was used in your possession, it makes no sense as to why it wasn't introduced in court. It was just simply marked as exhibit number 34.
Yes.
So what do you think about that, Chris?
Oh, yeah. To segue off the last topic, again, this is recent activity in these people's histories that's there, not something from the 90s. This is now. So on the subject of this weapon, okay, yeah, you're hitting all the cylinders firing everywhere. Okay, they never produced it. Nobody ever put the poker or the tool in Karmelo's hand during the whole testimony. Never put it in his hand. Nobody did. Everybody said, I didn't see the poke. Well, I think I know why that is, but we'll get there. So you don't have that. You don't bring it to court, which was ludicrous, right? You got these kids, 2 of them, right afterward, who ran down and threw stuff in the trash. I mean, one of them threw it in so fast. Karmelo had barely got down around the bleachers, right? And he's going this way. The other kid's coming like that. So Karmelo made that loop, was coming down. The other kid's right behind him, and he's curled over. Like he got poked or something. You can see it. And he throws it in the trash. He does one of these numbers. Another guy comes behind him, throws something in the trash. Then Freezy noticed this. We all picked up on it later. The trash can stays vertical. Cut back a few minutes later, trash can's horizontal.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then
someone knocked it over.
Yeah. So what's going on in that trash can? Well, and again, no forensics, no forensics at all, right? No forensics. Then you have also, let's count the areas where there's no forensics. Okay, there's none on the alleged tools. Because fingerprints could be dodgy. You may not get those, all right? But you could get some epithelial cells, and you could get those, and it only takes a dot, right? No forensics on the phones. All these phones were around, and we heard that the phones got confiscated, right? Like right after, right? Why is there no forensics on the phones? I mean, all of it. Then let's get to the video. How does Mike Howard not show the video? You guys, in lawyering, there's a thing called the rule of completeness. It means that if the prosecution, in this case, it means prosecution offers up something to prove a certain thing, and it's important, all right, and they show like this much of a video. Well, then the rule of completeness, if it's advantageous for your client, you want them to show the whole video, right? So what does Mike Howard do? He shows even less video than this guy did, I think, and they turned the camera a funky way, which you couldn't see what it was. I heard they turned it a certain way and all this stuff. So the juror never saw what we're about to see in my video. If you want to run that in a couple minutes, the jury never saw that. And it's just, I cannot. This was a good old-fashioned lynching. Mike Howard's performance was not worthy of a 1L. It was not worthy of a 1L. It really wasn't. I can't think of, the failure. He wrote me back on one of my questions too, because I asked him. I said, Mike, I'm trying to understand, since we had such a closed courtroom, what was the nature of your objections to this murder issue and the provocation issue? He tells me, well, I objected to the use of murder by the prosecutor, and I objected to the use of force issue in the jury charge. Okay, so you must take me for a fool, dude. You know I'm a trial attorney. Okay. In the first instance, if you don't object during the cases in chief, you can't bring it up later. And so let's go backwards. And that's the whole issue here with it's the issue with both of them, actually. But it's going backwards. He allowed those students, these lay people, to testify as to provocation. That's even the expert witness can't say point blank that it was provocation, right? Much less a high school student. And then also on the murder issue, he objected when his old buddy, Bill Werski, who's also brought up on SA charges, or harassment.
Yeah,
harassment,
we know they settled. We found that out weeks ago.
Yeah. Yep. Right. So I knew about it a long time ago, but I didn't realize it was Werski also. Yeah, sure is, of course, right? So he objected when Werski said murder. Well, like kind of in a offhanded way, but loud enough for the jury to hear it, right? And so, like, you objected to that, but you didn't object to it during Werski's examination of these students when they said it. So that you can't object now. It's you've committed ineffective assistance. Why would you do that?
It's totally ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous because each one of those witnesses who were teenagers, each one of them was asked, was it murder or was it self-defense? And how do they know? They're not legal experts. How are they supposed to make that determination? That was speculation. And he did not object to it, not one time. And he asked each of them that. So this is implanting that in the minds of the jurors. And as well as him asking who provoked it. These are things that they should not have even been questioned about. Like, it was so ridiculous. But also, let's talk about how he did that interview, Mike Howard, when he spoke to TMZ. Now, they asked him, did he tell Karmelo not to testify? He said he couldn't disclose that information due to attorney-client privilege, but that the initial the final decision whether or not to testify is up to the client. But now he knows darn well he told him not to testify. He knows he told him that because from what his bishop says, Karmelo's bishop said that he was basically tricked. Like there was some magic evidence that was going to come out if he got up there and testified, and then he was concerned about that and didn't think it was a good idea.
Right. And see, I tell you, just to finish up on the provocation, just explain to the lay people what has to happen. The way that's handled is called elocution. You ask the person you're examining, you make them elocute as to what they saw and their observations, their direct observations. And that way, then the jury can infer from that whether or not it was provocation. That's how it works, guys. All right. So that's not what happened. Now back onto the next point we just brought up here. How can I say this? I would argue that, especially as a Black person facing that type of, crime, using self-defense, I think you have to tell your story. I think even as a white person, I think although some people say don't take the stand, I don't know. I think if you've got, especially since we've seen the video now, I think you have to know that he wanted to talk. And gosh, I'm so frustrated by this because we had tried to reach the family before, and I don't know whose call it was ultimately, but I was with another attorney and a license. At the time, I didn't have my license back, but I'm still the same person, right? And so this guy, he was gonna, maybe help out and look around, help in the background, kind of watch the lawyers, but it didn't happen. And I swear to God, if that happened, I don't think we would be in this situation now. I really don't, because that was just so. And the unanswered subpoenas. We talk about the unanswered subpoenas too. You know, I think the new team has put out like 16 subpoenas or something like that. I think, yeah. And you can't just. How can you? It's a good old fashioned lynching, and we're gonna get to we'll get to Pat Fallon in a minute.
Representative Pat Fallon, yes.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know that he'd said all those hateful things about Karmelo until I went on your TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he'd said all those things.
Yeah.
I just figured out the other day that he was possibly connected to all of this because of his son. At least one of his sons
Let's watch the video.
Played football and ran track.
You want to watch the video now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Now, how do I run it? Can you run it? Can I run it from here? Share screen or what?
I think so. You should be able to. Yeah.
Okay. So my share screen, I'm on the bottom. Plus image file. Share screen. There's a share screen. Okay. All right. There's a share screen.
And if not, you can send it to me and then I'll share it. But I think you can share it. You should be able to.
Not a problem. Can you see my ugly screen right now?
No. He must have kicked himself off. Hold on. Okay, so he'll be back in just a second. Now, Bobby has a good question. Did they do a toxicology report on Austin like they do black folks? I don't think they did. That's a very good question. I was wondering the same thing. And I really don't think that they did. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he just sent me this video. Hold on. Let me send this to my email. Okay, Chris, I'm sending this to my email. I'm going to share in just a second. Now, what is this? This is Jeff Metcalf?
Well, it's kind of a collaboration, not collaboration. It's a kind of say like a summary video. There are a number of different topics I go into here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here it is. I'm going to share the screen.
I try to make it so that somebody coming in who doesn't know anything about the case can kind of get a feel for everything, you know? It's difficult because there's so many layers. Oh, there is he
told me
he is cussing up a storm here, but
there was never a punch even thrown.
I'm not sure that the prosecution expected this because they did have one of the witnesses said it wasn't just a push. It was, he lifted him up in like a linebacker drill type, you know, like when you see a linebacker, you know, hit the dummies. And so, you know, that's what he said.
Do y'all see that? They're snatching it. And then they're going to go to the other side.
Right there.
Who is that person behind Karmelo? So they said that Karmelo was not surrounded. Yes, he was. He punches Karmelo, boom, boom, and then he pulls Karmelo right here. You see him pulling his head right there. He's pulling his head down. Headlock. That's the headlock. Watch how this just vanished right here. Watch this. Do y'all see how this shit just break apart? Watch.
Right.
Now, do you see the guy run over to the garbage can? Watch this.
Boom.
Now, seemed like he threw something in the garbage can, but the garbage can did not flip over. It did not fall over. Watch this.
See, he's coming now. He's coming now.
Look at this.
See, he's throwing something in right there.
Watch the guy. Now, watch this. What is this they're going to pick up off the ground?
Exculpatory evidence.
This looked like a totally different video. Now, watch this. This guy right here is going to pick this up off the ground. That's where the garbage can is supposed to be at. Why is the garbage can on the ground? Watch this.
I put it inside my video too.
Watch this guy right here. Look.
Looks like a handoff almost. See that?
Now,
when the garbage can fell down.
Pat Fallon. I'm going to ask you point blank.
Now, this is Pat Fallon, you guys, the representative I was telling you all about the other day. Now, let me say this. We saw the guy go over to the trash can, pick it up, reach inside, retrieve something, put it in his pocket, go back to the bleachers, and then seconds later, he took off running and fled the scene. Now, I think that was another tool. I think that's the tool that was used to take Austin out of here. I think they had it, and I think that the reason they never introduced the weapon that was used is because the weapon that Karmelo was likely holding is not the one that was used to take Austin out. Now, I think that someone else accidentally stabbed Austin, and I think it was either Hunter or Eddie. Now, what do you think about that before we get into Mr. Fallon here?
I'm going to put even money on it. And in the alternative, if it was Karmelo, it came because Austin came to the poker. You know?
Right.
So it's like I'm sitting here, you come up. This whole case makes no sense. Did Eddie want to pick a fight? Did he want to pick a fight? Well, he walked up 5 rows to get to Karmelo, and then he lunged at him, but he didn't want to fight. He said he didn't want to fight. But Karmelo made him levitate and come up 5 rows to choke him. It's just, you can't make this make sense.
You can't. And then we saw them enter to the track meets, and Hunter was the first one. He walked straight up the middle, right up into Karmelo's face. Then comes Austin and Luke and the other person who testified, but they never said their name because they were a minor. They never said their name during the trial, but that person said themselves that he said it was me, Austin, Hunter, and Luke. That's what he said. So that's 4 people. And that also explains why you cannot see Karmelo, who was seated. You can only see the 4 figures in black because they literally surrounded him. So for people to be saying he wasn't jumped and it was just a push or a shove, that's just absolutely ridiculous. And all of this conversation they claimed that they were having, saying that 15 different times he was told to leave, that's all BS. Because first of all, who was counting? And we could see from how quickly the exchange all happened, how they went straight to him and started right away. They didn't sit down and have a conversation. They weren't arguing back and forth. They literally went right up to him. So just a bunch of lies and BS. And it's amazing that Mike Howard, he didn't bring up any of this. Not any of it. Didn't say one thing about it. He didn't bring up their history of being known bullies. Did he talk to other people in the community to see their experiences with them? No, he didn't. And he didn't even bring in the evidence about the cheerleaders complaining. This was all found out after the fact.
Right. Well, I know my buddy Michael had sent it. My Not Guilty Boys Michael had sent it. Mike Campbell. And because he's the one, he and I broke it, really. He gave me the email. He put it up early in the morning. And I had just flown back from trial. And when I got it, because I'd heard about it, but I hadn't seen it. And, you know, Metcalf fans are like, oh, it's not true. It's not true. You know, anything they don't like is not true. And you're a racist.
Right.
You know, it's not true and you're a racist. Right?
Yeah.
So if you dare question them, you're a racist. And I've stopped explaining to them how much joy it brings me to help people of all ethnicities who have to fight the man. And many of them don't look like me. But you can't talk to them because they're just going to say, oh, you did it for money or you did it for that or whatever. And I'm like, not necessarily. Sometimes I do it for free. You know, it's just but you cannot talk to them because they have a narrative and they are going to stick to the narrative. Project 2025.
Yeah,
You know,
they don't care about the facts or truth at all. They
no,
don't care about any of that. And
no,
everything, like you said, they said the cheerleading email was debunked. They lied about that. They lied and said the fact that Jeff Metcalf had been charged with assault, they said that was all debunked. None of these things were debunked. They're just liars.
they're
And
liars.
then when you bring up the fact that they were bullies, they say, well, that doesn't, just because somebody's a bully doesn't give a person the right to murder them. First of all, it wasn't murder, it was self-defense. And the fact that they were bullies is absolutely relevant because it speaks to their history and
Yeah,
the pattern of nefarious behavior. Now let's talk about Fallon.
yeah, right.
Representative Fallon here.
Just so the people understand the synapse, the evidentiary burden to overcome when you're trying to bring that stuff in. Okay, it's not just that, oh, you have the reputation of being a bully. You've got to show like a pattern and course of conduct, either a plan or a course of conduct and similar related things that can bring it in. It doesn't just come in automatically, right? But in this case, I think he could have easily made that because they lost their shit when the cheerleader mentioned their sorry ass record, and it came out in court that Karmelo had said, "Oh, your team is ass." So that was the talk. Remember, Hunter never wanted to say it was something inappropriate. Oh, it was some blah 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 blah, right? But you knew it was nothing like, oh, your mom's or your, you know what I mean? You knew it was none of that. Or he would have said, hey, he called my mom out her name, or you know what I'm saying? So you knew it was something that was nothing, and that's exactly what it was. It was nothing. It was a reflection of the truth, and they couldn't take it. They got butthurt.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that was the conversation that perhaps Karmelo and Eddie were having. And I think Eddie texted all of that to Hunter and Austin because they were supposedly already upset that morning because they got in trouble at the middle school. Their mother had to go to the middle school because they were allegedly over there harassing some girl who went to Emerson High School. And then so they say Karmelo and some other students told on them. So they already had it in for Melo from day one, which would explain why they came to the track meet with so much angst. Okay, and so hostile.
See, I had not done a lot of research on that particular wing. I'll call it on that tentacle. It's like an octopus. I hadn't been on that tentacle a lot, but if you listen to Hunter himself, he gave it away. He said, my mom answered my phone. When
That's right.
Nigga, you at the track meet. How does your mom answer your phone? Unless, I mean, surely y'all can afford two phones, right? Your mom doesn't, you don't share a phone. I mean, you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, so.
Yeah, they said he left it in her car or something.
Yeah, so she's obviously there. And so was Jeff. If you read the police report, Jeff was there too. And see, that's another thing they didn't want to talk about that Mike Howard should have brought up, because I am more apt to believe that they were there because of some other incident. I've not firmly said that, again, because I haven't researched it, but I would not bet against it.
She said it in her video.
Oh, she did?
If I'm not mistaken, in that live where she was talking, I believe that she said something about the middle school. Let's go
about the cheerleader email. We kind of talked to
fast forward, but I think she said something about being at the middle school.
And there was nothing he's going to do because it was off campus. So nothing came of it other than, yes, there was a talking to, and again, to all these people or whatever. And someone had mentioned more than likely it was a mom that was just pissed off and just decided she was just going to do whatever to hurt my kids more than because she felt disrespected because maybe it was her daughter that felt disrespected. So she felt disrespected and wanted to.
Or she saw the name Metcalf in the news and she wanted some clout. There's that.
Right.
So it wasn't even a cheerleader. It was the mom.
I don't know if it was a mom that sent the email. I think it was a mom that leaked it.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe the mom and the cheerleader wrote it together, and then
it definitely wasn't cool.
Why is that even a big deal though? Like
because they're trying to paint them out as bullies, and they weren't. But they're trying to.
They can't paint you out as bullies unless you absolutely were.
Oh, I've got one.
Being frustrated.
I've got one where the let me find it, where another person was being asked about Austin, and he said when Austin was alive, I didn't particularly like him. He was a shit starter. I've got that one too.
I played that one the other day. Now that was on, I think, Breezy.
Yeah.
I think that was on. Someone called into his show, and the guy was saying that they had come to his house before. I guess they were friends with his son or something, but he said he didn't particularly care for them. Yeah, because they were bullies.
Right.
So there's multiple people that have said this, and let's not forget how Fox 4 Dallas, there was supposedly an interview from the day of the incident before the ambulance even left the field, where Hunter and two of his friends said that Karmelo picked up the tool that they'd used to put up the tents after Austin punched him in the face.
Yeah,
and that all sounds plausible because that's why Karmelo had a swollen eye. And here's the picture right here that I got off your TikTok. Can y'all see his eye? Look at that. Look at his eye. It's clearly he was hit in the face.
And the other eye was red. The other eye was red too. Then they cleaned up the photos. Anybody can look at those photographs to tell. You know, I don't play around a lot with Photoshop and stuff, but I could look at it. I'm like, those photos are shopped, especially the darker one, the one from Collin County.
Absolutely. They made him look darker to look more menacing.
Yes.
To look more menacing, because the darker you are, you know, the more wicked they want to paint you as. And then also to cover up the fact that he had bruises on his face, his nose was swollen, his eye was red and swollen, and then also some of his locks looked like they were missing, like they pulled out some of his locks. Another thing is, did you hear anything about this, Chris? Now, I recently, just a couple of days ago, heard someone say that the coroner testified that the angle of how Austin was stabbed was kind of awkward. And then they said maybe that was because he had Karmelo in a headlock. Now, because we did hear that there was a headlock, I remember in the beginning, I said for him to be stabbed with that little tool that they say is 3.5 inches, it was seen that you had to be very close up on him. And that's why I believe that he likely did have Karmelo in a headlock at some point. And that's likely when Karmelo poked him, if he did, because you can't breathe. You're trying to get out of the headlock. So maybe that's when the poke happened, if it was Karmelo, but it could have been easily Hunter or Eddie.
And then let's not leave out the fact that Mike Howard, for show, mentioned that Karmelo's epileptic. And then from what I heard from the jury, Worski said, damn, he didn't want that coming out. But you're epileptic. My niece is epileptic. And I'm telling you, it's not, and the idiot McAfeeans are like, oh, well, they play football. No, football emotionally is not the same game in the first place, because the emotional trigger can give you a seizure. All right?
Right, the stress.
So, yes, that's not the same as being on a bleacher with 3 big-ass motherfuckers coming at you. You have no helmet on. That could be unaliving to you. Right?
Exactly.
So how does Mike Howard not argue that? I even have pictures of Karmelo in the hospital. It was either 2 months before or a year or 2 months before. His head's on the thing. He's on the machine. All this stuff. And you know what the defense exhibits consist of? The pictures of him with Eddie. This was all one grand kabuki theater. And I swear to God, I don't just want Mike Howard's license. I want him arrested for criminal fraud.
Yeah, he needs to be in jail. He absolutely needs to be in jail. Everything he did went against Karmelo's best interests. Everything that he did. Okay, and then also he definitely should have brought in and went into he should have elaborated on his medical condition. Okay, he talked about the medicines that he takes, how they make him react. Specifically, he should have brought in a self-defense expert, a psychologist, to attest to his mindset, to Karmelo's mindset, what he could have possibly have been thinking. And he definitely should have had Karmelo up there to testify in his own defense, because in self-defense cases, most often the defendants testify, because they're the only ones that can tell you their intentions. They're the ones that can tell you what was going through their mind, what they were absolutely thinking. No one else can do that. And for Mike Howard to say that the prosecution had some sort of evidence. Even if they had evidence at this point, you have nothing left to lose. He should have still allowed him to go up there and testify for himself, but he was doing all of this by design. Like, it's just so deep how the rabbit hole is in this case, how all of these people work together in concert and unison to take down Karmelo and to completely flip the narrative and shift the blame. Now, we should be asking ourselves, why was it so important for them to cover all of these things up and to railroad this young man? I believe that absolutely it was because of Hunter. Because Hunter should have been arrested the same day as Melo, because he was committing a crime himself. Okay, doesn't the law say that if you're in the commission of a crime, specifically a felony, and someone loses their life, and even if it's a misdemeanor, but someone loses their life, you too are culpable, even if you're not the one who literally took their life.
Yeah, I think that was what happened. There was a felony level attack, so you go straight to felony murder. You do, and also there's another statute. I think it's like 206. I forget the number. There's another statute out there about the burglary. Or theft. It's a theft, sorry.
Or if it's a burglary or kidnapping, then those would be felony murder. And in those cases, you basically don't have to prove intent. But since Karmelo was charged with murder one, they were supposed to prove intent, which they never did. So how did the jury not have a reasonable doubt? It seems like those.
Yeah. Let's keep watching the movie.
Okay.
During football, it's normal. Like I don't get why that's a big deal. Like we haven't been frustrated during sports during high school.
Well, and I can tell you this, Megan and Bayboy, as a cheer coach, my girls would have been in more trouble because you're supposed to support your team, no matter what, win or lose.
Keep in mind, if that was the worst thing that the boys ever did, the worst thing, they're really going to focus on that.
Yeah,
and it's really laughable.
Who says that was the worst thing?
Right. Who says that was the worst thing? Because weren't they suspended from school before?
Yeah, well, when you're going to see some videos, I don't know about this. They were suspended from the team, I think. We're going to get there in a. I'll show you if you keep watching my movie. You'll see.
Because what else do they have on your boys? Like, what else is there?
Well, I mean, apparently Tiffany Billions said that they were in trouble for selling drugs. So there's
my God.
Tiffany Billions is a water buffalo.
I don't
look. Anything that comes out of her.
Say that again, Chris.
I don't think she said that. I don't think she said anything about them being in trouble for selling drugs. I don't remember if she did or not, but.
I've never even heard that. They're probably just throwing things out there to try to make someone look bad.
Her mouth just makes me laugh anyway, because I mean, she said that Jeff used to beat me. Like, just I find it absolutely hysterical.
Well, there you go, guys.
I think I'm going to spend some time on her tonight.
No, he's never. He never has laid a hand on me.
Set the record straight, y'all.
A lot of these women that are up here saying your boys did these things, their sons are incarcerated right now.
Oh,
big facts.
Well,
yep.
Maybe the Metcalf.
I always wonder, like, just
exactly. Except for small town politics.
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
I've had enough of her mouth. Just let's go back to my video. Also, so you know what they tried to put on me too? They tried to put that on me. They tried to say that I said Jeff beat Megan, and I said I never said that. Go find where I told this one fool. I said go find where I said that. They just make it up and put it on you, and I'm like, I'm not. You're not gonna put it on me because I never said it.
But plenty of people have said it, and it's mostly people that look like them.
Were your boys up underneath that tent that day, wailing on Karmelo? It's a question, and given your association with the Metcalfs and the closeness of that relationship, it's a legitimate question. We want answers, and we're going to get them. I don't know where to start with you, but when we're finished, the only people voting for you are going to be your hardcore MAGAs and the black sycophants who vote for Alexandria Nicole Butler. Listen, the evil and vile things that you said about Carmelo Anthony.
Let's read some of these things that he said. Okay, this one says, our family knew Austin. This is what Patrick Fallon said. Our family knew Austin. The killer was and is a scumbag. I was elected to tell the truth. There it is. There's a great deal of dignity in being honest. And then someone says, Patrick Fallon, how did you meet him, if you don't mind me asking? May he rest in peace and may his family have some closure. He said through youth sports.
There you go. Are not true at all. In point of fact, he saved a life before, and that's something that his let's just call him his.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another thing that Mike Howard didn't even bother to bring up. That was very important.
In the sentencing, no, not at all.
He didn't even interview the lady whose child it was.
He had all this information.
I mean, he could have
been. Let's just call him his ineffectual counsel. Never even pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're tight with the Metcalf family, but I'm wondering, is that your son? I think you're all racist, to tell you the truth, but is that your son posting that comment there to a white power site there? Anyway, the conduct of the Metcalf boys violated policy. That's why ISD took it down, but I endeavored to put it back up in KingCast Vision. Then I see you're all upset in this article using a photoshopped image of Karmelo about his bond being reduced. Were you similarly upset with Case Nelson's bond getting reduced? I doubt it. This whole case is garbage, and you're in on it, in my opinion. That's why there were no clothes tested, as I pointed out, and you're supporting this guy here who was, by all means, apparently arrested for sexual assault and involved in shoddy and fraudulent real estate practices. We've had enough of you, okay? You're not getting into office. Carmelo Anthony is a true American, and don't you ever forget that. He protected himself like every American has a
fucking just somewhere where you belong. Fuck you, nigga and whore loving bitch. Kayla, you drunk bitch.
Now, that was Jeff Metcalf?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he said all that.
Oh, he said all that. Mm-hmm.
His brother Hunter, the defense is like, well, Hunter was similar in size, trying to make them out to be, the big bullies and all. That's the narrative they're going down. And as the defense attorney is asking this, I can see Jeff Metcalf, the father, just shaking his head like these boys are not the same size. And
my own son told me what happened. There was never a punch even thrown.
Tell you right now, even when Satan and the devil tries to fool us, the truth is still in the lie. Let me rewind it one more time. This is one of the goons, Austin's goons, and this is Austin and Hunter. Karmelo is in the middle. Watch, I'm going to prove to you how Karmelo shoots up the gap from the middle. Watch this.
See, I've been involved in jury views, one that the judge commanded, that's her in the green, and one in my own case in which it was virtual. I did a video at the site and was able to play that for the jury, okay? But I wrote the court about jury view here. They don't want no parts of that, no parts of that. Anyway, and thanks in part to my jury view and the video, my client was found not guilty. Can't say the same for Carmelo Anthony because of his do-nothing attorney.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another installation of KingCast Law and Justice. And I need y'all to pay really close attention to this one because we're going to talk about jury views. And this is probably one of the most important videos I've ever made about the Carmelo Anthony trial.
The rest of history. So no, it was more than his story. My story gonna be told now.
That's my client.
That's what's the problem, Ben. Officer Hesley.
Boom. Did you see that?
Boom.
Did you see Karmelo? He's shooting up the middle. He's already gone. Now you're about to see him at the top of the tent. This guy is still there.
Right.
This boy was assaulting Karmelo from one side, and Austin and Hunter was assaulting Karmelo from the other side. Yeah.
These boys are bullies. They violated policy, harassing cheerleaders, Karmelo, and probably more. They didn't contribute to the team.
You guys keep leaving early, so just know you guys are probably not going to the district meet. You dudes never stay and celebrate your teammates, and you guys don't win. Okay, so what value are you guys bringing to the team besides coming out and celebrating yourself? Tell them it's from me. So this is from the coach. Coach, can you tell Austin to put on his black shorts? Yeah, coach, I'll send it and I'll take their ish up Monday. So who was the coach writing this to, Chris?
The boys. because there's another one like that I didn't include because
And the
major press likes to include the other one, which says it's to Austin, and it's you and I forget the other guy's name. You two put the tents up, right? But it wasn't Austin and Hunter though. Hunter was not part of it. It was Austin and another kid. They were supposed to put the tents up. We still don't know why Hunter was ever there.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not certain.
And honestly, so is yours, Pat.
So this.
Hold on. What does this say here? It says it's coming when they least expect it.
Yes.
String them up. You don't know how bad I want to. Who said that?
I'll give you 3 guesses.
Jeff Metcalf or either Jake Lang. I'm going to go with Jeff Metcalf.
You're right the first time. So this was in court, and I explained it in a couple of minutes. It comes back up again. That's actually a missed edit that should have been taken out. But basically, he rearranged the seating. They took some chairs in the courtroom. They shifted things around, in part because I think Tiffany and some other black people were behind him, and Jeff was on the edge of his seat trying to lean away from him, right, the whole time. So when they come back, and this is a paralegal that I know very well now, and one of the best in the state, very sharp lady, white tea girl, right? And she said, "Oh," and she said, "What's going on?" And then Jeff looked at him and smiled and said, "Oh, it's public seating." Well, you know what, Jeff? So are the goddamn bleachers. You ever think of that?
You're talking about, I know who you're talking about because I was in a panel with her on TikTok. You're talking about my true crime addiction.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's who that is.
She called him out at the court. I remember that.
Yeah, I was there too. When she did it, I was running a video from this side, which unfortunately I think I accidentally deleted, but somebody else had from the other side. So it's up on it's circulating around.
Another thing, Mike Howard, did he mention anything during the trial? And I don't think he did about Karmelo having surgery on his shoulder.
Nope. I don't think he ever mentioned that. Nope.
Yeah. See, I didn't hear anything about that either.
And he certainly didn't say anything about the coaching. By the way, let's go back to that guy from Court TV, the brother. I talked to him.
Okay.
He's about half my age. We talked for a little while. And the thing is, I don't like the way he reported that at all, because Judge Roach had these really strict guidelines, for conduct in the court, and that kind of head movement, and those expressions. That's verboten. He's coaching.
I mean, they said that Judge Roach was very strict about people making certain facial expressions and all sorts of things. So definitely no one should have been nodding their head or shaking their head to try and coach a witness.
Demonstrably, right.
The narrative they're going down. And as the defense attorney is asking this, I can see Jeff Metcalf, the father, just shaking his head like these boys are not the same size. And
my own son told me what happened. There was never a punch even thrown.
Now, first of all, if his own son told him that, the question is, how come his own son didn't get up on the stand to tell everybody that?
Yeah, I know.
He can do all these interviews and he can do all this talking, but he was never called to the stand. Now, they basically, it was rumored that they claimed the reason he wasn't called to the stand is because it would have been too traumatizing. That's just a load of BS as far as I'm concerned. Hunter had already told numerous of lies or different stories on those interviews.
Yeah, he goes home.
And they didn't want that to come up.
He goes home again in those clothes, right? Goes home. And then he's up ready to talk a couple hours later on the news. Yeah, there's another clip too, by the way, on that one where he's sitting next to Megan. If you listen to it closely, not only does he shush her, which would have got me knocked out, he looks, he says, "Did you rehearse it?" And I meant to put that clip in here, but it was getting to be 10 minutes long. That's another clip. But he said, "Did you rehearse it?" You can hear him.
He said that to his mother?
Yes.
Now, see, I didn't catch that, but I did notice he shushed her when the reporter asked if that was the husband, which they're not married, but it seems like he shushed her so she wouldn't say that they're not married. And then also the reporter said, I can hear him.
I think that she got shushed because she was about to say that's our lawyer.
Oh,
that's what I
okay,
think.
really?
Because listen. If it was, I know who her boyfriend is. You know, I don't bring him in this. I never publish his picture. He's not in this. He's never inserted himself in it. I don't bring him up. But I mentioned his name because people were saying it was Mike Howard, and I'm like, no, it's not. Then at first I didn't think it was Megan either. There's a picture. They're kind of like, looks like they're in Hawaii or something, or tropical party or some type of place like that. And I said no. I said, that's not Megan. But then I looked at her again. I said, no, that is Megan. But it's not Mike Howard. It's another guy whose name it's irrelevant because right now, for the purposes of our conversation, it's irrelevant. But yeah, it was her. And but she, they're a piece of work, She lied too. Megan Metcalf, yes. Chris King said, you're a liar as well. Because you said that your boys were seated under that tent, under that canopy before Karmelo. That is a complete and utter and absolute lie.
We all saw them walk in after Karmelo was already seated there and then walk straight up the middle to where he was. So I heard her tell that lie too in that live that she did.
Yep.
I heard her tell that same lie, trying to make it as though Karmelo infringed on them when in fact they infringed on him because he was minding his own business until they showed up. There was no drama until her sons came. And that's what's so amazing to me with these MAGA types, these people who are just going in so hard in the paint on Karmelo. They know from looking at the footage that we've all seen by now. They know darn well that it was more than one person and that it was more than a push. You can literally see the fist flying.
Yeah, there's another clip where you could see him. You can see him, and I couldn't find that exact clip. Freezy has it, but that's the one clip I kept looking for, but I couldn't find it. I'll find it again. Yeah, you've shown it. Yeah,
because I actually blew it up. Yeah, and you can see it clear as day.
Yep. Incredible.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm gonna fast forward back to where we were.
Yeah, after the Volvo, after the talk about keep going. Keep on. We're getting toward the end. It's a little bit more. Right there.
Right there. Okay.
All right, so now hit play.
Did was please don't make this about race and please don't politicize it. But they chose to do both. And your goal that day was
Fuck off. Next person.
Man, you fuck off. Yeah, you disrespect.
Dude, why don't you go to fucking just somewhere where you belong?
The Real, do you have a question or comment? Yeah, Jeff Metcalf, you're a racist ass prick.
Fuck you, nigga or loving bitch.
I guess that's something to brag about in your culture. I got a new name for Mello, okay? Because he was such this little boy I was trying to portray. How about Watermelon Felon? How's that one strike you? Drew Anthony, you're a pussy and a coward, and you raised one. Kayla, you drunk bitch.
Here comes Jeff Metcalf with another racist innuendo, string him up thing from the courtroom. That's by a very reputable paralegal who was sitting behind him. And then there's the whole issue of him being buddy with a couple of black friends there who, the coach is actually part of the Brady Bunch who ignored the cheerleaders, right? And, in essence, you Metcalfians have conspired to destroy this family, which was a strong, functional family, Jeff, unlike yours, in my opinion. They had Escalade, they had cars, they had a nice house, they had everything. Kayla could afford to stay home and not work, unlike your ex, okay? But in the name of racism, you conduct these things. And Pat Fallon is right there with you doing it. Do not elect this man anywhere.
4 boys walking up into the group of the canopy.
Okay. And you said they weren't walking in a nonchalant manner. You said they were walking briskly. I think you said something, it was almost like predator versus prey was your direct quote, right?
I did, Freezy. So my exact quote was the walking with intent, as if it was almost predator versus prey. And they did not sit down. It instantly went from a verbal to a physical altercation very quickly, and you could tell. The reason why I say they did not sit down is because anybody can tell elevation, right? So if it is one person touching him at the time, you don't know if those other individuals could potentially jump in, right?
Wide angle videos, Julia, and the witness had to talk about how he had to use this software to zoom in and try to make the video as clear as possible. And even then, Julia, I won't lie, it still looked very fuzzy.
But it was raining. I could see raindrops. The video was crystal clear. I've always said it was 4K.
Pat, you and the rest.
Now, that's the thing, too. Several people have said that the video was crystal clear, and then they showed and released that fuzzy video that was very grainy. Okay, and I'm just wondering why Mike Howard also didn't think to have, well, of course, he just didn't do it, but he could have also had a forensic person come in for the video evidence.
He should have had, listen, when they traded evidence, okay, he should have immediately had that forensic examiner review the cop's video, right? Because you have to, it's discovery, right? You identify your exhibits. So he should have had that shipped off and had his forensic expert note that the damn thing was tampered with. So, and listen, I've worked on a case named Darrell Jones. It's on my YouTube page. And if you just search Darrell Jones on my YouTube page, you'll see about 8 or 10 videos there from me when we got him released from prison based on a bad video. But you can't make this up. I mean, like, they're trying to tell me that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, no, I've been here before. I mean, I knew who the experts were in that case that did their work. And then there's even a video of me in the courtroom on the day that they were supposed to have the fight over the video, and the state's expert witness didn't show up. Go figure. So anyway, they released Darrell, and they even had the nerve to try him again. And a couple of the same witnesses were there. They try him again. The jury was out literally like 3 hours. They were like, "Man, we got to go home. This is dumb."
Now, also, they should have. Did they say anything about them having a toxicology report done on Austin?
I've not heard this directly. I have heard that Jeff was mic'd up somewhere and said that he asked for a second toxicology report. Which, okay, so let me segue into what we're doing here. And this is why I put up a GoFundMe. I had intended to oversee this case, not oversee, but undersee or see along. I'm not officially involved, but I intended to see this case out, and I got the license back. I wanted to make sure I got it back before the case because I didn't want anybody saying, "Oh, you're not licensed." I'm like, okay, no, you're not gonna say that. But some have, and some of them are getting sued. But what it is we are going to be doing a people's lawsuit, which is in its early stages here. I just need a couple clear days to write it. But it's a mandamus action against some government entities like the city of Frisco and the county, the coroner, the medical examiner. So we want the original video that was shown at the school. 2, we want Derek Jackson's personnel file. I told you about him earlier, right? What went on there? 3, the autopsies and toxicologies. These are all public. This is public stuff, man, except for sometimes pictures and x-rays. They'll hold those back. But we're entitled to the rest of it. So the AG's office is going on and doing all these things. And I'm not going to divulge the full legal strategy here, but the basic legal strategy is that, what I will say this far is that once you release it to one person, you've waived all your defenses, dummy.
Right.
That for the video. And so Ken Paxton, I guess I called you a dummy. Are you offended? You're playing in our faces. I might as well call you a dummy, or an abusive AG to issue these orders like that. These prophylactic orders that the public can't get access to any of this stuff. And he's got dirt in his background too. Yes, he does.
I'm sure.
I forget what it was. There was something he did with some kind of money. Yeah, he's got dirt in his background. So does Roach. Roach got a 2018 admonition messing around with his wife.
Really? Now this is
it was called like divorce. It was called.
But first, DC, thank you for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. Now this is Representative Fallon's son, right?
Yep.
And so it was liked by Hunter. It says Y2 Hunter. So yeah, they were all definitely friends. And I absolutely believe that Representative Fallon was likely, just my opinion, pure speculation, but I do believe that he was one of the people that likely had something to do with strings being pulled so that Karmelo could be shipped off to prison so quick, fast, and in a whole hurry.
Yeah, that too, right? There needs to be an investigation. These lawyers that they brought on, because I think they had considered not guilty boys, but I think they went with the strongest guns they had because these other lawyers have more experience, like walking the same hallowed halls of injustice as the state is occupying now. So I think they went with the strongest guns they could get because there needs to be, like, Pat wants to run for Congress. There needs to be a congressional investigation into you. And were your sons there? Were your sons up underneath that tent as close as they were to those boys? We need to know.
And he said, right, were they there that day of the incident? And he did say that he knew the Metcalfs.
Yeah, no,
That's
were there.
What he said in one of those posts that you showed. Yeah,
they were there. The only question is whether or not they were up underneath that tent.
Exactly.
And why doesn't Mike Howard? Mike Howard should have had a list of everybody under that tent, which I don't think he did. Maybe he did, but I don't think he did. Again, it's just the whole thing is just absurd. It really is. It really is.
Yeah, it definitely is. It makes no sense at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There were so many things that he just could have done that would have completely at least given the jurors reasonable doubt. Because there's no way, nobody's going to convince me that they proved Karmelo's intent. And I would like to know what have they released the jury instructions? Because I haven't seen them.
Yeah, they did. I saw them. I saw one of the jury charges. Mike Howard wrote me back with one of them on provocation. It made no sense. It was not tied to. It wasn't tied to existing law. 931 or 932. It didn't tie into that at all. And Michael looked at it too. Michael said it didn't either.
So what about the jury instructions for them to find him guilty of murder? That's what I would really like to know. What exactly, I'm wondering, did they tell them? How did they instruct them on that? Because it seems like it had to have been something sketchy for them to say it was murder. Okay, well, they didn't prove any intent at all.
I can tell you this. There was a report back from one of the jurors that where they asked for an additional another copy of the jury instructions. So, if you look at this on a positive side, it could be that every juror got jury instructions, but one of them spilled coffee on it and they needed another copy. I don't think that's what it is. I think Roach sent them back with one copy of the damn jury instructions for 12 people. That's what I think. I can't prove that. Obviously, I wasn't there. But that's ridiculous in and of itself, right?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Right. Let me turn. I wear a lot of hats around here. Let's go to the press hat. Okay. Now remember the press. All right. So.
Okay.
So yeah, that doesn't make any sense. As a journalist or as a lawyer, I want to know why the hell that could happen. Mind you, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and also, what about the transcripts? Why haven't the transcripts been released?
Other people are working on that aspect right now. I have asked for them. I made sure to ask for them. I sent a self-addressed stamped envelope out a couple months ago. I never got a return back. I never got a return back on it, right? So they probably just threw that right in the file. So I did a video when I was down there of me walking in the building, filing it, and with a stamp on it, and walking back out the door. So I'm going to come back on that and see what the official status is regarding those transcripts. That's another thing. It's just the whole thing. This whole process has been so Byzantine. I can't believe it, right? And mind you, what I was going to say is, I was shooting my own courtroom videos when I was practicing in the 90s, right? On VHS. I still have them in the drawer over here. So every now and then I show a couple clips of a trial I won, So there's that. But not only that, I've been running courtroom video off and on for the past 20 years. I've shot video in 7 states. I've shot murder trials, high-tech trials, family law, not family law, but inheritance, estate trials. I've shot these things. And so I see how it goes, and plus I practiced before, and I'm like, how is there such a major disconnect in this case?
Right.
I'm flummoxed.
All by design.
I'm at a minimum, I'm flummoxed. Yeah, say that.
And so now talk more about these undelivered subpoenas.
Well, I don't know
who
you
mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I don't know who they all were too, but one unanswered subpoena is one too many, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so I don't know who. I think some went to the police too. They were unanswered. It's just like, ugh, yeah. The hubris of it all. The hubris of it all. When I write my book, this either the whole book or this chapter is going to be called "The Same Hubris," because the same hubris exhibited by those Metcalf boys is the same hubris that's being exhibited by the Metcalfians. Period. They could do anything they want to, or at least that is their belief.
Yeah. Speaking
Yeah.
of books,
Yeah.
somebody's already written a book about this.
Oh God, really?
I could have sworn I saw it the other day. Hold on, I'm checking right now because yeah, absolutely. Here it is right here. There's two of them. There's two of them. Listen, one of them is called the Carmelo Anthony case inside the Austin Metcalf killing, the self-defense claim and the trial that captivated America. That one is that's the first one. And then there's another one, Carmelo Anthony biography, the life, the case, and the trial. The details, they say this one details the legal case's broader impact on both families and the school district. I like their nerve that they're talking about a biography.
Huh. I gotta check them out. Very interesting.
That is interesting.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so we have undelivered subpoenas. Now, the witnesses who actually testified for the defense actually said things that favored the prosecution. That's another thing. So Mike Howard didn't interview these people prior to and tell them what he was, to give them an idea of what he was going to be asking. Like, this all is just so crazy.
It is.
I mean, it just reeks of malfeasance.
Well, the one witness, I think maybe they graduated or whatever. The one witness came up and said that what we heard in the beginning, there was a lineman tackle, right? Like
right.
Booged. So he said that, and but I think I don't understand. I can't understand this at all.
I believe that was Jose that said that, and then they said that he was taken into chambers after that.
Well, I don't know if it was Jose. It was another. There were two witnesses with an initial J. I think it was the other witness initial J. I think Jose was the one who was talking about the size difference, and then they went back in chambers, and next thing you know, it all kind of disappeared.
Right.
Yeah.
So when he came back out, yeah, they said he had a whole different attitude.
Right. I mean, what could that be about? You just the halls. If the halls could sing.
Yeah, that was highly inappropriate. Now, I wonder when he was called back there, did the defense also go in the chambers?
Oh, well, I would hope so.
Or was it just the state?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
That's kind of ex parte.
Right. Jalen Matthew referenced the lineman's drill. This is what
Jalen.
Nick Nubian says.
Yep, that's
Jalen?
right. Jalen.
Jalen. Okay. He referenced the lineman's drill. Okay. Thank you, Nick. Okay. Yeah. So now this dude, Jose, that's the one that they claimed that Jeff Metcalf was coaching, nodding the head at. And then, like we said, they took him into the chambers. He comes out, and then he's like watered down what he was saying previously, saying, "Oh, well, Austin touched him."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even on that chopped up, cobbled up video, you can see he got hit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They were all swinging.
Hit and surrounded.
And then here's the thing too. The fact that there was 3 of them. Buckhurst DC, thank you for your contribution, beloved. I appreciate you. Lieutenant Muxwood says, Queen Ahmadiyyah, peace and blessings. Hey, beloved, thank you for your kind words. And thank you for your contribution. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, with that all being said, the guy Jose, so he came out and he changed his testimony, and then there someone who said that, okay, you said was Jalen who said something about the linebacker move,
right?
But didn't somebody else testify that Austin charged at him and shoved him so hard he fell into Dustin?
Yeah, I don't know if it was a different person or not, but I heard that he bumped him and hit him back into somebody else. Somebody else did say that. Yeah, just I can't remember who it was. Right.
And Michelle says multiple assailants. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Michelle. That was my next thought that I lost my train of thought. So with the Texas doctrine about multiple assailants, Mike Howard could have easily used that and said by the fact that there was 4 people surrounding him, okay, as the video even shows, that would have given him a reason to fear for his safety.
Yeah.
Either something fatal could happen or serious bodily injury. And with that law, only one of them has to touch you.
Right.
But it looks like they all touched him.
Yeah. And even Miss Daisy, that's what she was implying too when in her little chat there on Freezy. You know, you don't know if the other people, nobody sat down. So if nobody sat down, and especially if you got twins, you know what's going to happen. You go get your ass beat. And
that's right.
Austin even said that. There was one of the testimony was move or I'll beat your ass. I mean, and their parents
beat your bitch ass is what I was told.
Give them that. That is because of Jeff and Megan gave them that attitude. Yes, you did.
Exactly. D Major, thank you for a super sticker donation, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Yeah, so there was a lot of things that, like I said, Mike Howard just didn't do that could have been done. And where is he at now? Is he in hiding? Because he's nowhere to be found, clearly.
Yeah, I know, right? His one of my first videos I did when I broke him down was that his Yelp is no longer available. And it says something like, this feature is temporarily down. I said, no, dude, it's going to be down for quite some time.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah. For giving that lackluster performance, you know.
I'm not going to call it lackluster. I'm going to call it conspiratorial.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It was criminal, quite frankly. I mean, I have never seen something like that. I felt like I was in the back in To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Like a Jim Crow. Seriously, like the fact that something like this blatantly went on in our faces in 2026 and they got away with it for now.
For now, right. It's just it was To Kill a Mockingbird, and he's no Atticus Finch.
Okay.
Right?
Absolutely not.
Tell it. Let's see if there's some questions to go. I've got a I've got 4 more minutes. Yeah, let's see if there's it's been a great show. Thanks for having me on. I totally appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll have to do it again.
Oh, we will. Yeah. There are questions.
I have a question now. I'm sorry, say that again. You said questions in the gallery. Does anyone have any questions for Chris before he leaves? I want to know, did you hear about them taking Karmelo's phone? Did you hear anything about that? Because that's clearly assault. Snatched his backpack, took his phone. I heard that they broke the phone.
See, I haven't been able to verify this. I've heard things going east and west on it, so I really don't know. What I have heard is that there was what I think has been debunked is that I heard that the woman in the front and the poncho girl, I think she was the one who had earlier said that they had met up at a kickback, and then at this kickback, somebody broke a phone and it got ugly. But I thought that it had been debunked. So again, that's not an area that I really delved that deeply into. So I really don't know about the phone issue. But again, what is interesting though is I bet you there could have been like exculpatory evidence on Karmelo's phone. Like, look what he was doing immediately prior to being assaulted. He's probably, in his backpack, they try to demonize what he had in his book bag. He had like word puzzles and stuff. And like what they'll demonize anything, right? So I mean, if he looked at his phone forensically, he might have been playing tic-tac-toe or talking to his mother, or who knows what he was doing at that time. That you could probably use that forensically to say, hey, this guy's been on his phone, playing Tetris or whatever he was doing, minding his business. But again, we would not know any of that because none of the phones were forensically examined. So it's just
exactly, or they were, and they're just not telling because they said that they collected the phones from the students, and then they even said that they took Eddie's phone twice. They claimed that Eddie was That's what I read. They said that it took Eddie's phone twice. Now I remember them saying that Eddie was pretending to record. He wasn't pretending. I think he absolutely was recording. Where's that footage? And then some people have even said that right after this incident happened, there were cell phone videos on TikTok, but then they all disappeared. And the police came out and said that if anyone posted video footage to the internet, they would be arrested.
Right.
So a lot of scare tactics being used. And also, were people under an NDA, the people that saw the video at the school in 2025?
Oh, no.
Okay.
You couldn't record it. Yeah, it's kind of silly to say you couldn't record it. That's another issue. But I'm not aware of any sort of NDA. You just sign it. I'm not going to reproduce it, which is also questionable, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so no one seems to have any questions. Alice says, I heard Hunter moved into Austin's girlfriend. Well, he took her to the prom. I showed you all the picture the other day. So that was clearly crazy, in my opinion. Taking your brother's girlfriend to the prom, and then the way they were holding hands. Okay, Michelle says they had to sign an NDA. That is what I heard. I'm not sure if that's true or not.
But what did the NDA say?
I'm not sure, but I heard that after they saw those videos at the school, I heard that initially they had to sign an NDA. I don't know how long it was supposed to last.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to confirm that, but I did hear that.
Interesting. But that's crazy though. Like, what could they NDA? Like, the only NDA that I was aware of was that they said you can't record it. They can't tell you not to talk about what you saw. I got to see that. If somebody has that, make sure that you give it to Queen so I get a copy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. It's also crazy, in my opinion, that they told people who recorded things with their own cell phones, you can't post it online. And it was in a public place. It's not like it was in private in someone's home or anything like that. It was publicly recorded. So what are you talking about? You're going to go to jail for posting it online. It was like so many things were done to hide evidence. And if they really thought that Karmelo, if they really knew that he 100% did this to Austin and that it was just a solid case, they would have released that video to the public right away.
When is the last time that anybody, any state government, local government, or network news, when is the last time that they have withheld a video that would be inculpatory of a black person?
Exactly. You know what? Someone just put in the chat. I forgot about that. They did have them under a gag order.
Right. Yeah.
So they wouldn't even need an NDA. They had them under a gag order and I think the reason for the gag order was because Jeff Metcalf talks too much.
Well, yeah, the gag order in general. Yeah, right. That was, I think it was, there was probably more to help keep Jeff from shooting his mouth off.
Exactly. And I'll tell you another thing I think too. I think that right away, Hunter and his mother, Megan, went immediately to the media to control the narrative and to get sympathy, to elicit more sympathy and empathy for their side.
Yes. And well, that there's an audio of her saying with Dallas Lady and those other people, we've got to debunk the video. Well, how do you debunk a video? It is
That's
what it
Megan
is.
said?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have that.
Wow.
How do you debunk a video?
Mm-hmm. Unless you edit it.
Or Pat Fallon, who will do whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. What did it take? What did it take, Pat? You want to have an interview? Pat, let's have an interview. Just me and you. I'll be here.
I guarantee you Pat doesn't want to do that.
Right.
Now, Rifling Christ says, hey, Queen, long time no chat. I have enjoyed the coverage on this case. I truly believe our baby bro, Karmelo, is 100% innocent. Absolutely. I agree with you, beloved, and I appreciate your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so listen, we're going to wrap it up and go ahead and head out of here. But Chris, before we do, could you please give them your social media handles? I saw someone asking about your YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, the YouTube, the easiest way to find me, if you run KingCast plus Karmelo or KingCast plus Cannabis, I'm also very active on that. You will come across them. I can tell you that my TikTok is, let me look it up real quick just to make sure I get it wrong. Because I have a couple of them, of course. So let me make sure I have it right.
Okay.
Should be.
I think it's KingCast 65.
That's one of them. That's the older one. But the one I'm really running more on right now is King Cast Journo, I think. Yeah, King Cast Journo for TikTok is that one. And then you should
put it in the chat.
Yeah, my Facebook, you'll find it too. If you run King Cast plus Karmelo or cannabis, you'll find my Facebook. I think it is King Cast. You'll find it there. So you shouldn't have a problem finding my social media. And like I say, as far as the GoFundMe, I'm off of Facebook for 2 more days. I won't even get into that. It's ridiculous. But I'm off of there for 2 more days. But my GoFundMe, you can find it in some of the links to the posts. It's there. But when I get back in, I'm gonna I couldn't pin it the other day, so I try to pin it or keep it up toward the top. But we're about ready to get busy, and then I want to tell people too. The next phase we'll be talking about cannabis, the way that Washington State and the whole country, what they've done is to kick blacks and mostly blacks, but also the white co-ops. They want to turn it over to big pharma, so they got rid of all of us out of the medical era. So when cannabis became recreational here in Washington, they made sure they had a lottery. None of us got through the lottery. So while we were going on with this, we finally, 10 years later, some people finally got licenses, right? Well, I know some of the people in Black Excellence in Cannabis were working together now. And I sued the board because they kept messing around with our free speech. So they would chop the minutes to speak to 4 to 3. They would interrupt you, right? Stuff like that. Then they would, one time, the guys threatened to arrest me for walking across the room with the camera. It was during recess. I could walk across the room with the camera during the meeting. And he said, Mr. King, you're causing a disruption. I said, how about disrupting a meeting? It hasn't even started. So we got into it. We get into it. And I said, you guys, I don't want to sue you. But they kept doing it. So I sued them like a year and a half ago. And they stalled. They did this, that, and the other. They filed a motion to dismiss. And guess what happened? I kicked their ass. So now, yes, really. So now it's deposition time. So I could use some money for that too. Because I never monetize my social media. I may start doing that eventually. But like usually I just pay this stuff out of my pocket. But like right now, I'm trying to build my firm back. And I got to deal with these depositions for the common good, for the cannabis front to get our speech rights back.
Right.
It's like, God, this is basic shit. What am I going to say?
Exactly.
It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable, the stuff we're going through.
It's amazing the things they put us through. Okay, so with that all being said, I'm reading some of these comments. Watermelon Felon goes far back in history, Jim Crow era. That's also songs with a title. It's in the Urban Dictionary. Yeah, well, that came from this cartoon also. I told you all about a week or so ago.
Yes,
it came from this cartoon where they framed someone for stealing a watermelon out of a fruit garden or whatever, and they were calling the person Watermelon Felon. So that really is interesting, seeing as how we know that Karmelo was clearly framed, and set up and railroaded. Okay, so that all just fits together and makes it more interesting that that's the term that he chose, the phrase that he chose to use.
Yeah, and I wondered about that too because I did a video about that, and I put a clip in from the actual Japanese anime, and so I did that. And what's funny is, of course, TikTok managed to take one of my videos down about it, because it's just they let them get away with stuff I can't get away with, of course.
Oh yeah, of course they do. I mean, they took my whole TikTok channel. I had to start another one. I had over 100,000 followers.
Right. And the one when I showed that image, that white power image, with that one, it was that reference to chip and all that stuff. Well, that was reposted apparently by Pat Fallon's son, right? Reposted. That means it's already in existence on TikTok and being reposted.
Yeah, of course.
But I put it in a comment, and they struck my comment as being unsuitable. Well, wait a minute. It's an image that's already existing on TikTok.
I see that all the time. I see that all the time on TikTok when we post things as opposed to when other people. Yeah, I absolutely see it on all social media platforms, really, not just TikTok.
Yeah, all of them.
Okay, so
what I told them, so you guys know this too, because I sued Facebook some years ago, and I had some Republicans on my side too. But since Facebook started going MAGA, they're not so much on my side. They don't care anymore. But I had sued Facebook under. I brought First Amendment stuff, which the court overlooked certain cases that have been established on First Amendment principles, They overlooked that, but these principles held that like a public forum not traditionally used for speech could still be First Amendment protected. It's a shopping plaza case anyway, but Section 230 kind of gives them this broad immunity to all kinds of lawsuits, right? But I dug up an amicus brief written by somebody who was actually a Facebook amicus lawyer, and I'm sorry, I brought up an article written, a law review article written by someone who did amicus briefs for Facebook. And it said, his name is David Lukemire. You may not be able to find this anymore because they scrubbed it. David Lukemire, Lukmire. And he said that 230 is going too far. They're getting too much immunity. So I brought that. I came with that. Judge still overlooked it. Ninth Circuit overlooked it. But what the Ninth Circuit never heard was my unconscionability argument. There's another case called Wadler versus Kroger. Wadler, I think it's either Wadler, I think it is, versus Kroger. And so that case just came out during the pendency of my lawsuit, and it goes into unconscionability, and it really expanded it. And it was like a Ninth Circuit case, right? So Facebook being in the Ninth Circuit, right? So that right there, I didn't get to argue it because it came up like at the close of my case. So the Ninth Circuit said, "Well, we're not going to hear that because it wasn't part of the record below, or it was only brought up on my motion for reconsideration or whatever." So they didn't hear it. They'll find a way out of it if they can. But the next time, I've been showing these clips. Every time TikTok does this, I send an email to their lawyers. And I'm just like, one of these days, we're going to get a coalition of folks, and we're all going to bring our receipts, and we're going to sue you, not necessarily under 1983 or 1985, but under 1981. Sorry, right to contract, 1981. We're not going to bring it under 1981. We're going to bring it under unconscionability, because you are applying the terms and conditions of your agreements in a totally unconscionable way with respect to certain people. So that's the argument next time. I'm sure they know this already. They've got their lawyers already prepared for me, but we're still going to have to do it because I think it's bullshit. Years ago, I'll wind up with this. Years ago, I started blogging in 2005. Chris King's First Amendment page. It was up for 17 years. All of a sudden, it disappeared sometime around COVID. I had another blog called Mortgage Movies Journal, because I used to run a title company, and I after that I flipped, started running videos of corrupt foreclosures in court, right? So that page had been up for, I don't know, like 12 years, 14 years. Okay. That disappeared. Now, funny thing is, back then I had trackers. I could see when the White House was following me. I could see what some corporate, I've caught people in Discovery lying about what they knew, because I had a tracker, and I'd say, no, you knew about this because I saw your I saw your IP address in my website that day. You knew about it that day, didn't you? You know, right? So, but they took all of that away from us. Now, they've got us like chattel on their platforms, and it's horrible. It's the downfall.
Yeah, because now they can control the narrative and censor whatever they don't want known.
Exactly. So I'm gonna get myself a WordPress. The unfortunate thing was I was planning to get a WordPress when the lights went out, But so I do have some material still stored, but I want to get myself a WordPress definitely, and do that and have my own domain, because they are just evil. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So with that all being said, beloveds, we're going to conclude the broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Please like and share. Don't forget to double check and make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you have not been receiving notifications, because you all know that they unsubscribe people. Okay. So each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
I have an update. I got Miss Daisy, the woman who was speaking during Feezy's show about the 4-on-1. Miss Daisy has a new video up on TikTok, guys. Look for it.
Okay, great. Thank you, beloved.
All right now.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
your neck. Hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got